Welcome to Sensible Transfers, a video series in which we make transfer suggestions that suit the style of the clubs we're discussing. If you're unfamiliar with the rules or methodology, you can watch our Sensible Transfers rules video as linked below. Today's club is Chelsea. Frank Lampard has, if not silenced the doubters, then at least quietened them. Those who felt his tenure at Derby had seen a side overperforming in relation to XG and getting a little lucky at times foresaw a tough start at Chelsea, but Lampard has impressed. His tactical management looks solid, he's handling the responsibility of the role well, and his integration of young players such as the superb Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount and Fikayo Tomori has excited fans. Of course, much of the need to bring through these younger players came about because of Chelsea's transfer ban, explained in another Tifo video linked below. That ban has now been lifted, and so Lampard must contend with another of the big tests for any manager, adding to their squad. He will probably be assisted in this by Petr Cech, as well as Chelsea's scouting and recruitment staff, and there will be, it should be assumed, a reasonable amount of money available for the right players. But where do Chelsea need to strengthen? Lampard has generally lined Chelsea up as a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, though he has used a 3-4-3 at times. Chelsea's wide players tuck in while the fullbacks play wide. Deep ball progression comes from Jorginho or the centre-backs, while the midfield dynamism of Mateo Kovacic, Ross Barkley and Mount assists with progressive transitions. Chelsea's attack is fairly fluid, and Lampard has encouraged his attackers and midfielders to roam vertically to disrupt opposition defensive structures, while creating space for Jorginho to pull the strings from his deeper, creative position. But while Chelsea appear to have improved under Lampard, issues remain. Defensively, they are prone to lapses and issues with their pressing and structure. While Lampard's enforced experimentations with youth are showing real promise, the lifting of the transfer ban gives the young coach an opportunity to fix some issues and engage in a little long-term squad planning. We've looked for players 27 or under who've racked up more than 700 minutes so that there's a reasonable data set, and each player is either entering their peak or is still a prospect. It's always trickier mid-season, so we've adjusted minutes played down from our summer benchmark. These players could be useful pickups for January, but they should also be considered long-term options. Chelsea really don't need short-term fixes. This is the big one. Willian is still a very serviceable option for the time being, and Callum Hudson-Odoi should be a superb player if he returns from injury and produces numbers like he was putting up before. He's attracted a lot of attention though, and Chelsea should be looking to secure someone who can provide competition for Willian and Pedro and perhaps be a longer-term option should they be unable to hold on to Hudson-Odoi. Key to this role are dribbles, progressive runs and creative output in terms of goals, assists and the sort of penetrative passes that unlock defences. In short, Chelsea haven't really compensated for the loss of Eden Hazard. Perfectly understandable given that he's an all-time Premier League great, but it has meant that either Chelsea's attack has occasionally looked one-paced or that the penetrative running and passing needs to come from midfield. Chelsea transition well, but the attack could do with that extra element of creativity and thrust that Hazard brought. Now initially we had decided on Dejan Kulusevski of Parma, but Juventus got there first. For pace, direct running and surprisingly high-end product, Chelsea might want to look at every stats nerd's favourite outlier, Wolves' Adama Traore. He has 4 goals and 4 assists this season, and his 13.7 dribbles at 70% and 5.6 progressive runs per 90 are unparalleled in Europe's top 5 leagues. Interestingly, this season under Nuno Espirito Santo, he's added end product as well, with 1.1 deep completed passes and 1.94 deep completed crosses per 90, second only to Kingsley Coman among top 5 league right wingers we looked at. Our only reservation is price. Someone should really have taken a chance on Traore before Wolves snapped him up because he's likely to cost a lot more now. If Chelsea want to look for a more creative player who's less of a goal threat but could help a lot in build-up, Norwich City's Emi Buendia fits the bill. He's got 5 assists without scoring himself, his creative passing is excellent both absolutely and compared with like-for-like players in Europe's top 5 leagues, and his defensive numbers are also very impressive. He makes 5.7 successful defensive deals per 90 and 5.3 interceptions per 90 when adjusted for opposition possession. His dribbling is good with 6.8% per 90 at 58% success and 1.7 progressive runs per 90. But it's his passing that stands out. 7 final third passes per 90, 2.3 through passes per 90 and 2.2 deep completed passes per 90. And all the players with more deep completions per 90 in our list contribute far less to deeper build-up. Buendia pulls the strings from further back though, and while he could contribute to Chelsea's attack, he would need to show a goal threat as well as creativity to step up. Our choice therefore is Riccardo Orsolini of Bologna. He's 22 and a left-footed right inside forward. Orsolini has 4 goals and 4 assists from a combined expected goals and assists of 0.56 per 90. He's second among top 5 right wingers we looked at for expected assists per 90 with 0.32, just behind Serge Gnabry. He's not afraid to carry the ball with 7.8 dribbles per 90 at 48% success rate, and his production is decent with 3.8 crosses per 90 at 33% accuracy, 2.5 deep completed passes or crosses per 90. But his passing needs some work. He's good for volume, for example managing almost 3 final third passes per 90, but his accuracy doesn't compare all that well to like-for-like players. Orsolini is a more dynamic runner and attacker with good shot volume for a player in his position, so perhaps less the all-round player that Chelsea need, but he would work well in a fluid, quick attacking unit. Nonetheless, as an attacking talent who compares favourably in most key areas and factoring in his age, he's a strong option, second only to the aforementioned Kulusevski as a right-wing prospect in Serie A. Chelsea should also look to strengthen the left-back berth. Neither Marcos Alonso or Emerson have totally convinced, and should Lampard use the 3-4-3 more to protect Azpilicueta and use the ball progression of Tomori, then a more attack-minded left-back would help. Borna Sosa, a Croatian 21-year-old at Zweite Bundesliga side Stuttgart, is an intriguing prospect, putting up excellent numbers, albeit in Germany's second tier. His 1.9 deep completed passes per 90 and 2.5 deep completed crosses per 90 are superb, and he makes 17.6 progressive runs per 90, which is extraordinarily high and a really good indicator of potential in fullbacks. He's playing below his level at Stuttgart, quick, technically capable and very attacking, with the ability to drive to the byline and pull back crosses or whip them in from deeper. Someone should take a punt on him, though a move directly to a side like Chelsea could be too much of a step up. Our choice, though, would be Alex Grimaldo of Benfica. He's already been linked with the Blues, and with good reason. He's got 5 assists from an XA of 5.4, and his build-up play is impressive. He makes 5.3 passes to the penalty area, which is Andy Robertson levels of good, 3.1 deep completed passes or crosses per 90, and 10.6 progressive passes per 90. His 4.4 crosses per 90, 31% accurate, could be improved, but he's a very solid all-round player who can defend capably, succeeding in 67% of his defensive duels, comfortably in excess of other good attacking fullbacks we looked at. He would be expensive, probably around the £30 to £35 million mark, but at 24 and with European experience, he's a long-term option that would suit Chelsea well. Lastly, and certainly hardest, is the position of goalkeeper. Whichever XG against model one uses, Kepa has conceded more goals than the quality of shots faced would suggest, and his save percentage is the worst for any first-choice goalkeeper in the Premier League. Chelsea spent a lot of money on him, and there is an argument to persist, given how David De Gea improved after a rickety first season. Maybe Kepa will too. However, we're not convinced. Ream have the joint best defensive record in Liga with PSG, and stopper Predrag Rajkovic is a big part of that. His save percentage, 82.4%, is the second best of all keepers playing senior competitions who are valued at over €5 million, according to Transfermarkt, who've played over 700 minutes this season and who are aged 27 or under. According to Wyscout, he's conceding 10 goals from an XG against of 18.3, also impressive. The 6'3" Serb, who is 24, seems to concede mostly from shots that are low, hard, and fairly close to his body. Otherwise, he's a good shot stopper, athletic, and generally gets good clearance with his saves, although he has a tendency to punch crosses into a central area, which does need addressing. Alexander Maximenko is another good prospect. At just 21, he's already a Russian international, and his save percentage, 76.2%, and goals conceded of 24 from an XG against of 28.6 according to Wyscout, is impressive. Spartak Moscow's defense is quite gung-ho and like to play out from the back, which means Maximenko's distribution is good, and he gets to practice one-on-ones a lot, which he does well with at a low, crouchy body position. The Russian is 6'2", but is aggressive when coming for crosses. He has occasional lapses in concentration, but it's otherwise hard to detect much of a weakness in his game. Indeed, a good few of the goals he's conceded this season may have been horribly unlucky, with ricochets off defenders or the post. He's less of a finished article than Rajkovic, and both would likely command sizable fees, especially Maximenko. But if Chelsea want to tie down a European-based goalkeeper who would be an upgrade on Kepa and could hold down the jersey for some time, they should be looking at these two.